Hello again, traders, and welcome back to the Hot Stocks Outlook for January 17th, 2025. Hope you all have had a nice week out there in the financial markets. And as always, we're going to take a look at the most recent VantagePoint A.I predictive forecast. So if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and click on the link down in the description below, and you can get signed up for a live demonstration so you can learn all the specifics about how these predictive technologies are helping traders make better trading decisions out in the marketplace. So as we typically start out, we can take a look at the S&P 500, and it's been a little bit of a choppy start to the start of the year here. So we're up about 1% over the past 5 trading days. Last 30 days has us seesawing up and down, and this is where you really want to identify the best opportunities based on the probabilities here. So as we go back into VantagePoint, we can really highlight this opportunity in Antero Resources, really update things on the short term over the past week, as this is a stock we looked at last week, but really explain how all of these predictive tools work together here. So what we have here with Antero is daily price action, right? So each one of the candles that you're seeing there is going to represent a full and complete trading day. And right up against that price data, one of the first things that you're going to notice is there is a black line and also a blue line value. So the black line that you're seeing there is actually a simple moving average. So this is a very common technical analysis tool. In this case, it's a 10-period simple moving average. So it looks back at the previous 10 closes, adds it all together, and then divides by that number. And one of the weaknesses with traditional technical analysis is that all of this data comes from the past, right? So it's lagging and really just reorganizing what's already occurred in the market. And so what we're able to do is compare that lagging moving average to this VantagePoint generated proprietary predicted moving average. And for this number, which again, we can think of as a price, for that to be calculated and plotted on the chart every evening, well, this is where the technology of artificial neural networks come into play, and they're performing what we would call intermarket analysis. Now, neural networks need a lot of data to generate accurate predictions, but you really want relevant data. And so what we're able to do is look at markets that are known to drive and influence the future price of Antero Resources. And so this can be things like other individual stocks or ETF groups. It can also be things like the energy markets, right? Like oil and natural gas, which oil's had a huge rally to start the year, and even going back into some of last year, starting a big move up. But it's also even looking at things like currencies or interest rates. So it really takes this global approach, looking at all the relevant markets and then generating highly accurate predictive indicators that are anticipating where the market's likely to move. And so whenever we see this blue line, in this case, cross above the black line, well, we'd expect those average prices to start moving higher. And this is where, again, in energy, we've seen a lot of strength coming into play. Now, Antero Resources we looked at last week, but if we go back and just rewind the last 5 trading days, what I want to highlight is how some of these shorter term predictive indicators work, right? So if we look at the very bottom of the chart, you'll see this bar that goes from green to red and back to green. And this is called the VantagePoint Predicted Neural Index. So it gets updated every single trading day, but it's tuned to solve a different problem for traders. And that's short-term strength or weakness in the market over really a 2-day or 48-hour period, right? So you can just think of it as a couple candles. And so if we look back and say, okay, well, we've seen a lot of strength going into this week. We have that neural index bullish, a lot of separation between that predicted moving average and the actual moving average. Well, then we might want to take a look at the VantagePoint predicted high and predicted low. So now we're down into intraday price action and individual levels of where the market's likely to trade. And so if we look back at all of those predictions against the actual market data, we can see here actually going into this would have been Monday morning, we moved down towards that predicted low and see a resumption of the uptrend. So really nice opportunity here on a weekly basis, but also continuing on a trend as we've seen energies move higher. See about a 6.9% rally in just the past 4 trading days. But that is really on top of a much bigger rally starting all the way back here at the end of December here, about a 24% move just in the past 14 trading days. So what this alerts traders to is, hey, something's going on in energy, whether that be the individual stocks here, or also potentially the commodity offering some exposure there and some nice rallies. Here's Valero Resources, just continuing on with that theme. Again, keeping things simple with that blue line crossing above the black line, neural index bullish. And when you start seeing a lot of crossovers in a similar sector, well, that really gives you a clue. And what's going to happen is these predictive indicators are going to start skewing to the bullish side really across a sector. So each individual chart is going to have that high accuracy with its predictions. But when you're using features like the VantagePoint and Telescan, we can actually see where these crossovers are coming, where a lot of this strength is seeping into the market. And of course, we can look at these predicted highs and lows just over the past week here. Again, we see this coming in really on Tuesday, move down towards the predicted low, getting a nice rally. But overall, you see at the beginning of this trend, a lot of opportunity to establish that position before this market moves up. So again, really nice opportunity in energy and also in mining stocks. So we'll take a look at Newmont Mining here. Here again, Valero about a 14% rally. Here's Newmont Mining, very similar situation. We've seen a big move higher in copper prices and also gold and silver. So we get that crossover, blue line over black line, a little bit of sideways price action here. You see you get a little bit of selling the next trading day, but as that neural index gets bullish, a lot of the momentum kicks back into the market. And again, offering some really nice opportunities as the trend goes higher. So you see here very early opportunity to get involved. Shares up about 10.5% just over the last 8 trading days. Now, we highlighted that, okay, well, things have been a little choppy to start the year. And a lot of that has to do with a lot of these big stocks that, especially over the previous years, have performed extremely well. Well, here's shares of Apple. And we see really just the exact opposite, right? A blue line crossing below the black line to start the year. Neural index staying bearish. We get a little bit of a bullish move here and kind of run sideways for a couple days. But when things start flipping bearish again, you see that momentum picks up to the downside. So this has been an interesting start for Apple. But you see here these predicted highs standing out as areas not to go long, but actually to set short positions. And we see the resumption of a lot of that weakness in the market. So again, we can see the overall move here, seeing about a 8% decline just over the past 10 trading days to start the year here in 2025. And lastly here, Las Vegas Sands. So I think last week we looked at Wynn Resorts, another area of just weakness in the market. And so when you're trying to figure out, okay, well, where can I get bullish exposure? Where is there strength in the forecast? Well, this has clearly been an area where you see that blue line below the black line. Again, you see the neural index gets bullish and you get these sort of sideways periods where the trend isn't moving lower as far as momentum, but the trend is still down, right? So you'd want to short, take profits on shorts, a lot of separation between that predicted moving average and the actual moving average. And again, we see this last week here, seeing a lot of weakness out of the sector and opportunities to short. And actually, just a couple days ago, moving up towards that predicted high up at about $46 a share and down to 44, really within pretty much the next trading day. So you want to be really on your toes here. We're really getting started to the year, seeing which sectors are performing well and starting to break out to begin things for the month and the quarter. But here you see about a 17-18% decline just in 20 trading days. So we really want to avoid these areas that are in downtrend, potentially get some positioning, lock in stops, and get involved in some nice trending markets to start 2025. So we'll go ahead and leave it there. Once again, this has been the Hot Stocks Outlook for January 17th, 2025. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck out there, and bye for now.